Welcome to Pixelated episode 112. I'm your host, Will Saddleberg. This week, we're breaking down everything out of Made by Google, with early Pixel 11 impressions, a full breakdown of Google's Trevor Noah hosted event, and some big picture thoughts on the future of Pixel hardware in the Gemini era. It all starts right after this message from our sponsor, Proton. Grab your phone and take a look at your app drawer right now. You've probably found yourself relying on these same old apps and services since the Nexus days, and what suited you best back then might not be the right choice in 2026. Luckily, Proton can help bring you into a privacy-first ecosystem built for our modern age. Proton offers practically every service you could possibly need under the sun across every platform, including email, calendar, file storage, password management, document editors, and, of course, a trusted VPN. Built with class-leading end-to-end encryption, Proton's entire suite is fast, intuitive, and secure, and export tools mean you don't need to worry about leaving data behind on those other apps. Pixelated listeners can save 30% off an annual subscription to Proton Unlimited, which includes 500 gigabytes of cloud storage, custom email domains, a dedicated customer support team, and so much more. It's what's best for your current phone, not whatever you were using back in 2013. Upgrade to Proton today and save 30% on your annual subscription by heading to proton.me/9to5google or by clicking the link in the show notes. That's proton.me/9to5google. Thanks to Proton for sponsoring Pixelated.
So I guess we've officially been made by Google. Made by Google. Google made. Made by Google. Made by Google?
Google
I don't know.
Made.
Google
11
made sounds
years
terrible.
in, I still don't like Google's penchant for going by Google.
It does feel weird, doesn't it? It does feel weird. So how are we feeling? How are we feeling after this launch, Abner? Because I know you were there in person. We've been remotely tuning in and stuff, and I have since watched the keynote because it was 11 o'clock my time.
Yeah, so to me, my main takeaway is that it's tamer than last year. They kept the same studio format, live audience. That's how they phrased to the crowd repeatedly. But yeah, it just felt tamer. And how did you guys feel watching it?
Okay. Do you want the I guess the corporate answer, or do you want the personal answer? Because I know why they're trying to go down this route, and we said it multiple times on the podcast before. But at the same time, why is it so wooden? Why is nobody seems to be relaxed? It's like it's supposed to be a more relaxed atmosphere, but it feels even more stunted. And I don't know if maybe like there's that added pressure on it because it's the third. Let's look at it. It's third phone in a row, right? Third same phone in a row.
Third same phone in a row. Will, what did you think?
I guess like before this, the question I kept asking was like, who is this for? And people kept reassuring me like, oh, it's for normal people. Google wants like that Apple like atmosphere around their event of like normal people watching it too. And having caught the event on replay last night because it was while I was making dinner. It's like what a weird time. Yeah, I still don't know who this was for. Who is this for? It was so long, but it was not like entertaining, I thought. Like it was pretty dry. I agree with you, Damien. Like wooden is a great word for it. Like if I was just like a normal person, I definitely would have tuned out like pretty quickly.
Do you feel like, and this is just coming to me right now, I don't know why I've just thought of it now. So I know that US late night talk show television is much bigger than it is over here. We have Graham Norton, that's about it. We don't really have anyone who does this anymore.
You can take John Oliver with you.
Yeah. Do you feel like this is Google effectively wants the Pixel launch to be a segment in one of those shows? And does that feel like it would be better to do that anyway? Would it not make more sense if Google, they have to have a keynote, right? They have to have a huge razzmatazz and that we're launching a product. But at the same time, would it not make more sense for them to just be like, do you know what? Here's 30 minutes of every single thing that's new. We're going to absolutely hammer the internet with adverts anyway. And then do 30 minutes on these shows and have it a bit more kind of, it's a bit more fun. And like, I don't know. Maybe there's too much control. If that makes sense. They're too worried about making a mistake and not coming across as fun and approachable.
It's also, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if I was like a casual viewer of like The Tonight Show or whatever, right? And like the segment, like I was watching the show one night and the segment came on that was like clearly sponsored by Google showing me this phone. It wouldn't like endear me to the phone. So they can't do that. I think like I genuinely think people would be turned off by being like,
no, and they can't.
This isn't just like Jimmy thinks this is cool. Like, you know, like Conan used to have like Nintendo on, and like that felt different than if Jimmy Fallon had Google on. It would feel like a mini advert in the show surrounded by adverts.
So Jimmy Fallon on his before late night, before the Tonight Show on late night, he used to bring Engadget's Joshua Topolsky on to like talk cool tech for like a 5-minute segment. And one time they gave everybody in the audience a Chromebook, like one of the first or second generation Chromebooks. That was the thing that happened. But to your point, Damien, I don't think any of these companies could do that on a late night talk show, because that would just be an advertorial. That would be QVC or whatever. But anyway, so the point about wooden, about it being dry, like I guess the diplomatic answer is that this is tamer than last year. I feel like Jimmy's personality lends himself to be more wild and out there. And with Trevor Noah, they got more of a straight man. And I'm told that Trevor is like super into technology, like genuinely into technology. Like he can discuss the ins and outs of it. But that really did not get reflected in the keynote, in my opinion. There was an interesting dynamic where I feel that several times Trevor went off script to get a laugh from the audience that I don't think the PMs, those are the people actually in charge of the products, of the features, knew was happening. And that, I think Noah did his best to like keep the audience energy alive, which he inherently knows how to do as a stand-up comedian. But I think maybe there was a mandate to be a bit more serious in overcompensation of last year. And I didn't think it ended up being like a fun show or like a meme-worthy show.
I mean, let me just talk about Trevor Noah first. I'm a big stand-up fan anyway. I'm a big stand-up nerd, particularly here in the UK. And it's weird to see that Trevor Noah was just a kind of a jobbing comic here in the UK, like a stand-up. And then he suddenly had this glow up in the US. It's crazy to me. That's by the by. But I think it does feel like by going down that route, and he's tried to make it more endearing to the audience. And there has been, like, I don't know how to describe it. The only way I can kind of describe it is, say, for instance, if I shove a camera in front of someone's face and they're not used to being on camera, they're going to go into fight or flight mode, and you're kind of like a deer in the headlights. I get that impression from some certain PMs or the people who do the demos, not the PM, sorry. Certain people who do the demos, or they've been chosen to do the demos, might have been chosen, but they may not have really desperately wanted to be on camera and be in that kind of high pressure situation. I don't know if like, I mean, this is not me giving Google advice, but realistically, the personalities that you can get in front of camera can really sell the product for you, i.e. the people who are passionate about it. And I've spoken to probably hundreds and maybe 1,000 people throughout the time going to I.O. and all these kind of things. And there's a lot of people who are very passionate about what they do. And sometimes it's like, that might not come across in the keynotes. And I'm like, where is that passion that was there when I saw someone talking about it behind closed doors? And now it's a case of like, you putting it on screen and they're scared. Like, it's like, oh, I might get hit by this car.
Which is, it's a genuine concern. Maybe that's not the right word, but most people don't do well in those high pressure situations. What that says, especially knowing it's live, like that is like a crazy high pressure situation versus something like Apple's recorded keynotes.
But then at the same time, does it matter? I feel like Google should lean into it, and Google, like a lot of tech companies, they want to have this veneer of like, we are perfect, everything goes right all the time.
Yeah.
But if in a situation like this, I don't think there's any need to. You've got Trevor Noah hosting the thing, and then Jimmy Fallon last year. I think, if I'm being completely honest, last year's was quite funny because it was like, this is absurd. Why is this guy hosting this?
It was memorable at the very least.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna remember this in a week or two. Like,
No.
it's just not gonna stick in. Other than being like, oh yeah, that was the kind of like boring-ish follow-up to the Jimmy Fallon one. But like, a year on, I remember the Jimmy Fallon one like fairly well for a show that I watched it through twice. But like, I don't know, like that was, I don't know. I don't even know what advice to give Google though, because I feel like every time I think of a solution to one of the problems we're describing, I'm like, well, that creates like 3 more problems. So, like it is a tricky line to walk, right? Like, of like, is this for tech people or is this for normal people? How much of this is funny or how much of this is played straight? If it's played straight, is that just like boring for the audience because it is essentially an advertisement? Like, finding where to land on that is difficult. And I think the best thing Google could probably do is what you guys are kind of saying, which is embrace the authenticity of the people they have on stage. But that comes down to making an environment for those people that they're actually comfortable in. And I don't think standing next to Trevor Noah, they were comfortable.
No. But then again, I feel like in the grand scheme of things, there wasn't as much to talk about this time around, realistically, for the phones. Like, if we had a brand new phone and it was brand new, then it's going to be very, very different. I mean, keynote aside, it was I'm not going to say it was forgettable because it was quite bland. I don't think it was forgettable because it was bad. I think it was just forgettable because it was bad. Let's talk about the phones, because I think a lot of people have preconceptions about the devices. We've all spent a bit of time with them now. I think some of us have review units, and we obviously can't talk about them right now until I can't remember when it is, but we will give you some deeper reviews soon. But we've had hands-on. I spent some time with every device. Abner spent some time with every device, and he's absolutely exhausted from that experience. Let's get into what do you think is a standout this time around, Abner? Because I found this kind of difficult to really pinpoint and pin down the other day when I was kind of parsing all the information I delved into.
So I think I'm going to start on the watch and something with at a glance. This is. It obviously shares the name as the Pixel phone feature, but on the watch, it's a space at the bottom of your watch face that shows you any real-time critical information. Like if you have navigation on, maps navigation on, it shows next directions, ETA, that kind of thing, and you can use the double pinch hand gesture, your thumb and forefinger, to expand it. The same can be done with music. So I think in terms of a UI interface that will actually change how I will use and interact with the watch, I think this is a really promising space. All your live updates appear here, and it honestly makes more sense than on the phone. So this might be an exciting way to use the watch, and definitely something I'm exploring during the review period. But other than that, it looks the same. It is physically identical. Internally, there are some changes. New chip. Well,
newish, isn't it? It's like a hybrid new. We'll call it hybrid new. I think that's
hybrid new. That's a good one. It's accelerated. The chip is accelerated, like 13% CPU. There's an extra gig of RAM, 3 gigs of RAM, and 64 gigs of storage. I am very curious to see the performance of how that extra gig will help general performance, which it's supposed to make. We've been told it's supposed to make scrolling smoother, app launches, which hasn't been the biggest issue on Wear OS.
No, I can't say I've ever had an issue since the Pixel Watch 3. So, like, the Pixel Watch 3 has almost nailed all of the issues I had. Like, I don't know, have you seen any hangs on the phone? I've never had a.
The Play Store is always so slow.
Okay,
I think
fair
it's just the Play Store. Like, it's rare, but when in general, system-wide. Like, it just hangs for a second and like, oh, that would never happen on the phone.
I can't say. I think with the watches, I agree with you. The watches are kind of nice. It is one of those products that I'm like, well, you kind of made it perfect, or as perfect as you're probably going to get it last year. Like, I don't necessarily see anyone looking for this as an upgrade, and it doesn't look like there's any great. Well, at least I'm basing this in the UK only, so I'm being a bit isolationist and saying that UK buyers, there aren't that many great deals with the watch this year, so it's almost like maybe get the Pixel Watch 4 if you can at discount, because I don't think there's enough necessarily different. The colours are great. I will say I do quite like the colours this time around. They've nailed the colours of the strap, and I think there's a new texture for that as well.
The fog band is just white. Let's be clear. It is not good. But yes, this is the second generation active band. It switches from the... I'm not going to pronounce that.
Is it fluoroelastomer? Fluoroelastomer or something like that? I think I might have nailed that.
I think that's close.
Yeah, I think you got it. It basically the new band has less plastics, which is microplastics, which we as a society should probably care more about. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. Yeah, it is. It looks exactly the same. It is, I mean, all the Apple Watch stays the same for many years. Samsung, once they pick a design, they pick it for a few generations. I do think that if there is any device that probably shouldn't be upgraded on a yearly cycle, I'd say the watch would happily suffice on an 18-month cycle. But yeah, it's...
I mean, with watches, do we think, I'm going to ask you a question now as well, because I'm kind of humming and hawing if I'm going to do it. Are you going to switch to the Pixel Watch 5 on a long-term basis? Because I don't think I'm ready to let go of the Fitbit Air. I genuinely don't think I'm ready to let go of it, because I'm loving the fact that it just stays. It does, as much as I love the Pixel Watch 4, and it is easily my favourite Wear OS watch, save maybe the OnePlus Watch 3. I genuinely going to find it really difficult to go back to a smartwatch plinging and plonking and vibrating every day. When I get 500 emails, I'm going to have to just be like, no, turn off AOD and just make it really basic.
Just don't have emails on your watch. That's what I do. Turn off Gmail notifications on your watch. It's drastically changes the usage cycle. So yes, I was on the Fitbit Air before this. In terms of sometimes just not wearing the watch when I was deep into that Fitbit Air cycle. But I do miss the time. I still, with the Fitbit Air, I still look at my wrist and what's the time? And media controls. Since I've actively gotten back to wearing the Pixel Watch all the time ahead of this review, media controls are great.
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually. I do miss being able to skip on Pocket Cast, but I think, Pixel Watch 5, we're pretty kind of... It feels very much like the most uniterative update we've had, and we're about to get into some really uniterative updates, or more iterative updates. What do we think? What do we think then in terms of the trio? It's a trio of 4 phones. I was going to say trio because I'm classing Pro as one, but there's 2 Pros. How are we feeling about everything now? We've seen them. We've held them in our hands. We kind of know. We know all quantities are kind of accounted for. I'm in a really strange position now, because it's kind of going to be difficult to review these products without the fact that we're going to be looking at Pixel 9, we're going to be looking at Pixel 10, and we're going to be comparing it. I think it's almost impossible to not look at those and think, is there anything realistically that people will care about here?
I just have to say that, thank God, I no longer have to use Moonstone, the worst, blandest, non-committal color on Earth. It was literally exciting for 1 week, but after a week, you're like, what is this? It's gray.
Okay, wait. My main takeaway is also about colors. Can I just say, Google called the matte black Pixel 11 Pro luxurious on stage last night. They know matte is good. Why are the other ones not matte? They know, they admitted it. Make them all matte.
It's always is strange to me how Google adapts their colors and they make minor changes to certain color options, and then all of a sudden they, like I say, they will throw in one that's a little bit out there. I think the color lineup is pretty decent. I think it's pretty good. I think it's a good way to differentiate from last year. At least none of them look too similar in terms of the color lineup. So
Yeah,
that's
agreed.
kind of a good way of doing it. I wonder if they know deep down that the Obsidian is the biggest seller. So they've kind of like, yeah, we've done something to this one. So at least if you get this one, it's slightly different because it has a matte frame. I wonder if that's at
I'm
play
so
somewhere.
sure they would save some money by just doing matte on all of them. And like the shiny polish
Yeah.
requires another pass through or whatever, but
Mm.
colors, yeah.
Yeah, so we've talked about that. We've talked about that ad nauseum. I have just had my review units turn up about an hour ago, and I have been gifted the color of a Canyon. So I'm going to be rocking a
Yes.
Canyon Pixel 11 Pro XL for a while. So that's going to be strange.
That's exactly what I the review unit I got as well. Yeah.
I wouldn't have chosen it. I've gone for the Fog. Is it Fog of the
Yeah.
Pro? I
Yes.
pre-ordered the Pro. There's some fantastic deals out there. If you want trade-in deals, the trade-in deals they differ from country to country, but you can get some insane trade-in values for really, really old devices on the UK store, and they were sending out discount codes as well. So double stack, get your discounts if you do want to upgrade, or you think, do you know what? I'm looking at this phone and thinking I want to pick it up. But in terms of like experience, it's really tough to talk about, isn't it? Because it's almost like we've had not enough time to really ascertain what's changed. I didn't feel any difference here. Google barely talked about the Tensor chip in the keynote, apart from 20%, or was it 17, 20%? I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. But yeah, it's a really, really strange time. This feels like the weirdest post-event kind of rundown. Like, we don't. It's almost like everything leaked a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and now we're like
the
piecing it
software
together.
didn't really leak. Just if we want to review the leak cycle, I think software was very minimally leaked, and I think that very much influenced the perception of the phones going in. Anyways, yeah. And is there anything else about the hardware of note? It's
Highlight. How do we feel about Highlight?
Yes.
Because now we've seen it. Now we've seen its limitations. I think that's the biggest thing that's just stood out to me. Was like, I don't know where I stand on it now. I don't want to sour on it already, but we're going to need more features.
I can sour on it already. I think I soured on it last week.
Let's start with during the keynote there was an ad about the emotional ad about Highlight. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So Google started the highlight section by playing a minute-long clip.
Yeah,
it was
about that minute and a half, maybe.
I guess that's at a high level. That's like the emotional tech ad. It fits into that bucket. We'll link to it in the description so you can watch it. So just
I would put it in, but it's just a song. It wouldn't work in audio.
yeah. So what do we think about it?
I think it does not feel at odds with what a tech company should be doing. They're trying to sell this idea that Highlight resolves some. It kind of brings you more into the real world, whilst at the same time, I think it's one of the messages. It says like you'll put your phone down more or something like that. I'm like, right, but aren't you trying to sell a phone here? Like, I kind of get what they're trying to say, but it feels really at odds with the entire keynote message. Like, we are going to sell you this phone. It's
very Steve Buscemi. How do you do, fellow kids? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, hey, no, we're just like you. We hate phones too, man. Like, they don't get it. Do you want to buy this one? Like,
yeah, I know, it's really weird.
Interesting.
That's my read.
That's my take. Yeah, my take's the same.
And that's even like kind of apropos of the feature itself, which I don't think lives up to what they're describing here. Like, I don't think it does enough to keep you in the moment, because one of the two things it does is sync up with Gemini, and I think that really goes against what the ad itself is trying to say. I don't know. It's curious.
Okay, so I'm the odd man out here. I think that was one of Google's one of Google Pixel's, if not Google, the entire company's best ads that they've done in a long time. Like, if you remember Parisian Love, that was a Super Bowl ad about somebody using Google search to basically meet somebody and move to another country. This was like 10, 15 years ago. To me, this was, I think the broader thought I had watching this keynote, like it started off with like the message of like using your phone less, technology getting more advanced, like AI letting you use your phone less, which I think Rick was the one that offered that idea. And that's a lot to unpack, especially, and maybe not relevant yet in the context of Highlight is not AI in any way. But that ad only introduces Highlight in the last like 15 seconds. Like before that, I think as a general ad, I think that's Google being very earnest. And I don't think earnestness ever gets anywhere on the internet in general. It's just hard to convey, like a multi-billion company, etc., trying to ostensibly, they are selling you, they want to sell you something, like we were saying about buy this phone. But I think they are earnest in recognizing that people want to use their phone less. And from somebody who has the opinion that AI can do a lot and it would actually end up making our lives simpler once it reaches an advanced enough stage, like giving everybody an assistant, let's say. I think that does capture the possibility of where this can go, and that technology is just a tool that shouldn't be all-encompassing with your life. And that reflects, cynically or not, that people are really tired of their phones, in terms of people love their phones, they use them every day, but maybe they don't love them as much as they used to because everything happens through it.
I don't disagree with you on the earnestness, to be honest. I think that earnestness is like a little bit undercut by the highlight pitch at the end. Like I think it feels weird for it to pivot to being like, buy this piece of hardware that we're telling you is not as good as we've told you or whatever, right? Like it's an odd feeling. What I would say, Abner, is I actually think if they had made this a Gemini ad, it would play a lot better. If this, like, we are here, we're making this ad kind of generally for the Gemini experience in the way that OpenAI advertises ChatGPT, right? Like, and it ended with like, hey, like it was essentially an entire ad for like, we know that our chatbot is not human, and it's not going to try to be. It's going to try to be your like personal assistant. I think this is just like they put it in the wrong ad. They made it for the wrong feature, especially because Highlight doesn't do enough to live up to the promise of that earnestness anyway.
It's a bit weird as well, trying to make an earnest ad or an ad that's like kind of touches people's soul, as it were, for a feature that existed 15 years ago. We had LED notification LEDs 15 years ago, and you've just basically done that again. But
did they swirl?
No, and they didn't interact with the AI helper on your phone. They didn't interact with Google Assistant before it was a thing. But I get what you're saying. I do think sometimes Google does some fantastic work on their ads and stuff, but it feels really weird to have it in the middle of a key. I'm sure it'll get played all over the place and we'll never see it.
Yeah, they'll cut it down or whatever.
Yeah, and then because of the algorithms that we have for our ads showing to us, and if you're a YouTube Premium Supremo like myself, you're never going to see these anyway, unless you seek them out. But I feel like it's weird. The messaging around this device is really, really weird from Google, because it's almost like I'm not saying they phoned it in. If they've tried to go down the earnest route, that's great. But at the same time, it's like, okay, but the prices have gone up. It's more expensive than last year. You've added this one feature that doesn't really do much on launch, and I'd like to see some more functionality from it. And then you've barely talked about any of the other advancements in any great depth. It's almost like, yeah, this is our last attempt at this particular design. Hopefully we do get the big one that we're expecting next year, because yeah, it's going to be tough. I think this one is a tough sell. I think the Pixel 11 in series in general, even if the phones are obviously I don't really have any strong opinions of them yet, apart from maybe the Pixel 11 being quite expensive for a base model. But yeah, it's just a really weird place. I've never felt this confused after a Made by Google before, even last year, which felt like they made improvements. It's like, okay, we've got a new TSMC Tensor chip, and at least there's some positives to be drawn from that. There is definitely some positives here. I'm just not sure where they are, and maybe I'm kind of disillusioned with it a little bit because so much of it feels the same.
I mean, not to make an Apple illusion, but it reminds me of, it feels like this is Google's iPhone 7, right? Which was the third iteration of the 6 design, 6S, 7. The 7 didn't do almost anything to update the overall design. And then the next year was the iPhone 8/X year. Like, you got the big redesign of the X. And I'm not saying that we're going to get that from Google next year, that we're going to have like an iPhone, I'm saying X, 10, you know what I mean? I'm very tired. I don't think it's going to be that level of evolution. But like, that's sort of what this feels like, where it's like one last shot at like refining an already refined device. Like, I was going to say design, but it's not even, it's the whole thing. Like, they're also it's just like a minor refinement on Tensor too. Like, it's not bad. I don't think anybody, like, my gut feeling, right? Like a way too early not review. It's literally not a review. My gut feeling is that nobody buying this phone is going to be disappointed unless they're like a really hardcore gamer. And I'm basing that on the Pixel 10. Like, that's exactly how it was with the Pixel 10. Like, Google makes pretty good phones now for most people. And I assume that this will be similar, but I agree. It's a hard pitch when it's $100 more, even with good pre-order bonuses, and knowing that it's a Pixel and it will definitely be on sale on Black Friday for like $300 off, but it's a tough pitch.
Yeah, we definitely feel like we're in that. I mean, they're in their major iPhone era now, right? I don't think they age. What do we have from iPhone 12 to like 15, where we didn't really see much? 16 was 16 the last one of that design?
I mean, the iPhone 12 is when they switched to the flat design, and you could argue the iPhone 17 is still kind of using that design.
Yeah.
Like, they have, it is not really, the Pros, I guess, have a slightly different look now, but even that is not remarkable. And Google made a crack about people copying their camera bar design, by the way, on stage.
Sadly, though, because the bloody iPhone still shakes. That still makes me mad.
I know. I don't understand. Like, I thought that last year, where I was like, why did you take the like overall look, but then not do the like reason for taking the look? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're enjoying Pixelated, don't forget to sign up for 9 to 5 Google Pro to gain access to our weekly bonus show, Pixelated Pro. This week, we're discussing post-pixel exhaustion, whether or not it's impossible to make an entertaining tech event, if cringe is finally making a comeback in the culture, and much more. Sign up today at 9to5google.com/pro.
Yeah, let's talk about the camera then. Let's talk about what the camera does and what it doesn't do. I think there are some. The thing about it is there's some good stuff here as well. Like, I think a lot of the problems that we maybe were alluded to last year with the base model in particular, I'm glad that they've addressed it and they put I want to say premium. I'm using air quotes there. Premium sensor in the main one. They've done the same for the Fold. Like, this is probably going to be a much better camera experience than the Pixel 10 last year for a lot of people. So that's exciting.
So on the software front, camera looks, that did not leak whatsoever. And I feel like this is something that people have wanted. Will, you can take that away.
I'm people.
I'm people.
No, it's I have to play. I obviously have to play around with it, and I did not get a hands on with it. Like I think you guys did. But like based on the announcement, based on the press release about it, it's exactly what I've been asking for, more or less, on Pixel, to stop myself from having to edit photos when I'm frequently unhappy with just very basic elements like how contrasty they look. Like that's all I'm really ever looking for. They're only ever 2-second edits, and they make the photo look 5 times better and cements Pixel as my favorite camera experience. And now this will hopefully alleviate that process, and we'll just keep it kind of the the default.
So yeah, CameraWorks offers 4 HDR options in addition to the original. You can make it, this vanilla is one of them that makes
natural, I think, right?
Those 4 presets, you can set it as your default look permanently in the app. And in addition to that, there's something called stylized looks. This is where like it's black and white. This is where there's a toned down thing that just takes one shot, no HD, one frame rather, that just takes one frame, which is something that Damien uses with Zero Cam. So Google is definitely leaning into that aesthetic that people have as of late. That's a more temporary thing, and you can make further customizations to it. The camera app mostly looks the same, with the exception of you can now customize when the one-tap controls. You can now set 4 adjustment sliders basically on the left and right. It builds on the current preset, and yeah, that's a nice customization. You can also use it to quickly switch looks. So that gives you fast editing. So yeah, they're really addressing visual and I guess feature complaints of the camera.
Do you think sometimes, because I'm very, very excited about the camera looks feature, as someone that you even said it there, I use Zero Cam a lot. I do wonder if this is going to change how I use the base Pixel camera now, because I'm probably going to be delving into looks a lot more. I wonder if Google could have put more intense controls in there, like full. I don't want to use the Apple camera as an example of this, because I think the UI, I'm at odds with Abner with this. I think the UI is quite bad now. I do wonder if we could have had, what are they called on photographic styles? I wonder if we could have had like the slider and stuff and have like real fine tuning there. You can make changes to camera looks, but I do wonder if sometimes it's oversimplified. Maybe we could have it even more.
No, you can
have more controls. Can you do it with?
So Pro Controls right now, when you tap the bottom right settings gear, you have a range of options. All those are available in styles.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't see that on my hands-on. I only played around with the base ones and made
it's more than the filter. It's more than just the looks. You can set each of the looks, customize each of the looks further.
Well, that's alleviate. I retract my complaint, and I think that this is one of those things that Google's been listening then, and I haven't been listening or haven't been seeing it. Again, when you get 2 hours with your devices, and there's however many of them there is, it's difficult to see every single intricacy. So forgive me. I'm not always an idiot like that. I think this is one of those things that, like, I wonder if Google is going to lean into this more now. If they're not going to change the hardware and go for a 1-inch sensor on the camera, we're going to see more like personalization tools. And I do wonder if we could maybe get to a point where, and then I didn't see much of Gemini Intelligence. I saw some of the UI components that are leaning that way. But I wonder if we could maybe get Gemini to cook up some looks and stuff and have that integrated that way. I think that would be kind of cool, like true film emulation and stuff. And maybe my dream is to just have Snapseed in the camera somehow, somewhere. But this feels like the right step, doesn't it?
Emulation. They do have film emulation.
Yeah, but it's limited, isn't it? It's limited right now. It's not going to be completely extensive to the same level of Snapseed, is it?
I don't know about that.
I think it's like a certain amount of presets to begin with, and you can kind of bake them in. But I don't think it's kind of quite the same level. Maybe people can play around with it and prove me completely wrong. But I'm pretty sure when I saw it, it was like, oh, there's a few preset selections, and you can kind of go in a direction. You can't like fully do it. But please, if you get your device next week and you listen to this podcast, send me a DM. I want to know how you've done it. Again, we don't have enough time to truly get into this stuff, but I'm pretty sure it's quite limited compared to, say, going into Snapseed and applying like an old Nikon or Kodak, film emulation to the same level. But I think Google should go for it. Just go all in. Don't hold back on this. I think a lot of people want and still like making these changes, and it would be really cool to get stuff like true Polaroid level emulation and then keep the original and then have them both. I think that'd be awesome. Don't know why they don't do that, because that could be a way to sell the camera over other alternatives, especially because there's lots of apps that do this. Why not have it native?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think anything they can do to lean into, especially like the retro stuff is so in these days. Like I not so much in like a 2012 Instagram way, but in a like 2002 disposable camera kind of way. Like I think it would be fun to lead into that built into the app, and Google's whole pitch is that this is a more fun. It would even, oh my god, you could like basically have it be like, this is a mode that not only applies like a specific like film camera look, but also doesn't do a lot of the AI processing we're doing behind the scenes, and gives you this like true like early 2000s digital camera look or something, right? Like you could lean into it and be like, see, we're the empathetic, we get it, like your phone is not your life company. But like, I don't know, it's another space where like I feel like that they don't fully live up to that ad's potential. But like it's there. You could see how they could do this, and Google would be the one company to do it.
It does feel weird though, doesn't it? I feel like in general, the AI, it doesn't feel like they were really ramming that this is the AI phone down everyone's throats.
Except for when they were. It was like,
it was weird. It was like a Trojan horse. Yeah. I don't know. What do we think then about the camera improvements for the Pro series then? Because I feel like we're getting this 120 times zoom. I don't know if it is the same. Is it technically the same sensor, or is it an improved 5 times sensor on that device? I can't remember off the top of my head.
I believe it's an improved telephoto.
Okay.
I wrote that article.
And it is a step up. It is definitely a step up, like over the 100 times zoom of the Pixel 10 Pro XL. Like it is noticeably different. And even that is without the ProRes zoom taking over and doing some processing. So I think it's going to benefit people who go to like 30, 40 times zoom the most, I think, which is always good. I know they like to show off, we can go to 120 times, but how often are you really doing that? Like, not that often. I think it's in those mid-ranges where it really does make a big difference. So I'm glad to see that there's at least some changes there. Like, are we going to pull one out for the temperature sensor, or are we not bothered about that? I feel like
no.
Nobody. I've never seen a single person complain online. Like, it's interesting.
I totally forgot it was gone. 100%. Look, it lasted exactly one generation longer than I thought it would. Truly, I believe I made a prediction when it first arrived on the Pixel 8 Pro that it would be gone on the Pixel 10 Pro. So I missed it by a year. But I'm sure somebody found a good use for you. I didn't, but somebody did.
I'm never going to be able to check the temperature of my falafel or my cup of tea ever again on my phone. So it's just, that's it. So I'm going to have to carry a USB-C thermometer everywhere now. So that's going to be great. So thanks, Google, for that. No, I don't think any people are going to be losing sleep over the loss of the temperature sensor. There may be a few, but it definitely felt like one of those things that was like neglected to the point of we don't even know where to go with this anymore.
They never really did much with it. That's the thing.
No, it is a shame, because obviously I understand at the time they were like, oh, this is going to be a health thing. Well, maybe it could have been integrated into Google Health a little bit better, but I just don't foresee that. I mean, I think it's much easier to wear a Fitbit Air, and I would highly recommend people do that. It does skin temperature anyway. So yeah, I think in terms of the camera stack, it feels like it is probably more sizable than last year, actually, in terms of the updates. Last year was more AI integration. This is like just genuine hardware changes. I don't know why they didn't lean into it a little bit more. Like, we have genuinely tried to revamp the camera this time. That's always a complaint from
G6 is a pretty big. It unlocks some camera upgrades. The 120x Pro Zoom, the instant night sight, which I am so excited to use and try. In terms of it's slow. It's like that. The feature's a few years old. It's like the only time I ever wait for my camera at this point. So that's unlocked by G6 and its new camera image signal processor. Let's see what else is camera-wise. Magic Capture. That is their flagship feature, leaked ahead of time. So the idea is basically not having to trusting the AI to capture the image for you. So basically, it's recording a video, but the images it takes is a bit higher quality. It's more than just a screen grab. My use case that I want to try is like putting not looking at the screen, putting the phone on my chest and like just like being able to watch the moment. That being said, I think that's better done with glasses, especially if it's in a prop, like, I don't know, surprise party or whatever. Or like going to a concert and just like being able to see it while the phone's at your chest. Like all other AI features, there's a high trust barrier, of course. You want to make sure you're actually getting if you're taking an image, and I'm more of an image person than a video person, you want to make sure it's the highest resolution possible. So I'm sure there's a learning curve with that.
I do wonder if okay, I'm going to say something that this is not meant to be disrespectful, but this feels like an old person feature. So like an old person who isn't confident, they'll hit the shutter button at the wrong time, just use Gemini camera. It does the little short clip, doesn't it, and then picks them out. I think, to be honest, that might save a lot of red faces and the blushes of people who are terrible with photos. Like, oh, grandma, you didn't get the photo, or like, oh, dad, what were you doing? You didn't get the right photo at the right time. And let Gemini do the bits in between. I think that probably might be
that's
okay.
Interesting. I had more of the read of the like, oh, stay in the moment, like again, like your phone is not you kind of deal. Like just don't worry about it. Hit the thing and then you can just look at the sunset and your phone will capture it while you're holding it down here. You don't have to worry about framing or anything.
People are bad at framing photos.
Yeah, that's the thing. That is the only issue, isn't it? That's the biggest problem is if you give I don't know if you've done this before, and my first thinking was when I saw this during my hands-on session was the amount of times you give your phone to a family member and they take the worst photo you've ever seen, and
nobody
you're like, what were you
how
doing?
To frame.
Well, there's that, but I think if you just say, hold this where it is, or put it on who's carrying a tripod apart from you're an influencer in the gym and you get caught in the background? That's another argument for another day, but I think you give the phone to someone and you just say, point it there, film this, just film this. And I think filming people tend to be a little bit better at than they do taking a photo. I think there's more pressure. Like, I couldn't be a wedding photographer. This feels like a wedding photographer function. Like, he's going to do it. He's going to get a usable image and crop in after the fact. Like, I don't know. Maybe I've thought about it too much, that some people are incompetent with their photography and that this is the solution. I think it could be. I think it will be for a certain subsection of people. I'm thinking of my mum and dad, and they are terrible at taking photos. They're blurry. They never look decent. Probably down to their phones, but yeah. The name's terrible. Everything's magic. I don't know how many more magic things you can have.
I'm getting tired of that.
Yeah.
Well, they did kill Magic Q this year for something called proactive assistance, which there's in no universe that has a better name. And to add to that, it is called proactive suggestions on Pixel Watch. So there's two proactives. It depends on the form factor.
What do you think Apple would call that feature? Because I feel like maybe Google's tried to think of it like that. Yeah, I feel like Google's tried to outthink Apple on the naming of these AI functionalities, and maybe that's why there's so much like crossover and they feel really at odds. I mean, they could have just kept it under the Magic banner or Gemini something. Just Gemini something, Gemini Q or something.
Oh, no.
It would make more sense to me.
It is officially Gemini Intelligence Proactive Assistance. Which...
Well, no. I'm never ever going to say that.
Yeah, that's never going to be said.
Including
apart from maybe explaining what
it
is. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I got my Gemini Intelligence Proactive Assistant pop-up. You're not going to say that, right?
I've already forgotten the right combination of words.
Yeah, same.
Assistants, not assistant, which is...
Oh, assistants.
Obviously, don't want to have two assistants.
Jeez Louise.
Magic Q.
Did they hire like a consulting firm to make it as hard as possible?
This is definitely too many cooks. So what are we thinking overall in the camera? Do we think it's enough of an upgrade for people to maybe look at it from maybe the 9 series? I think maybe from the 9 series. From the 8, you're probably getting enough.
Is tough,
9 still feels too early.
I mean, like, I think if you see a really good trade-in deal on the 9, like you could go for it. But I think otherwise we're looking at, I think 8 or earlier.
Yeah,
and even then the
Base
8, the Pixel 8 was a good phone. Yeah, like the 8 Pro was I really loved the 8 Pro. I would not, besmirch anybody holding onto that phone for another year because I haven't used one in a while, but I'm sure it's probably holding up pretty decently. Yeah,
Oh
I
my
don't. But
god!
like,
How long
8
until
or
are
earlier.
we from like a vintage trend where people try to find phones without on-device AI?
I think we might be there in terms of the
Yeah, I
cameras.
think
There's a
we
lot
might
of
be
people out
there.
there using iPhone 3GS and iPhone 4 cameras I've seen, and they're talking about how good it is, and I'm like,
Wait,
are you
no,
looking at the same
no,
photos?
that's insane. 3GS.
Yeah. We're using 3GS
That's
era phones.
insane.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. We're in it feels like we're in a strange position. This phone kind of straddles that a little bit. It felt like we haven't had Google in this era of like maybe not doing much in terms of the phones like for a long
Yeah.
time. Last year was the first time, and this year is it once again. My biggest concern is how people react to it. Like, are people going to be? Is this going to be a tough? It feels like a tough sell. Like from where we're sat right now, maybe the trading deals make it a decent sell, but how many people are going to be looking to upgrade in this the way the market is currently? I think it's going to be very, very tough on a lot of brands. And we've just seen the Fold 8. Samsung's done something with the Fold 8, and they're selling very, very well from what we can tell.
Okay,
And how's this going to land?
I want to dive into your comment about upgrades. Who is upgrading in that scenario? Because the thing that Apple has going for them is there are definitely people that buy every new iPhone that comes out every year, and these people aren't the tech savvy ones.
Yeah.
I think Apple has the most people like that. Does that exist with Galaxy people? Maybe
I think it's
to an
tough.
extent.
Yeah, I think it's tough. I think even
it's
that's
absolutely
much
small,
lesser degree.
much
Yeah.
less degree. And then when you go down to Pixel, and even fraction
I'd say
of that.
as a ratio, it's higher on Pixel. I know a lot of people who
Agreed.
will switch Pixel every year, and usually
Yeah.
to do with trade-ins. Like one of my friends, he has upgraded his, because the trading deal was so good, he's effectively managed to get the Pixel 11 Pro with going from 128 gigabyte Pixel 10 Pro to the base being 256 and therefore UFS 4.0 storage. He has paid, I think it'll be about $135 total. So I think that might be that in my personal opinion, for the sake of $10 a month, it's less in pounds. It's about £9 a month or £8 a month. That's 100% worth it to me, because you are genuinely getting those upgrades, because he's getting the storage increase. But then there's obviously the issue with RAM. And I mean, I don't know if you guys have watched any post-release content, but the only person I've seen saying this is Dave2D, saying that 6 gigabytes of RAM is wired for something to do with Gemini Nano. And I don't remember anyone talking about that pre or post-release, and he seems to be the only person saying it. So if it's 4 gigabytes, which is what we believe it is, I don't know where this 6 gigabyte figure came from. So I don't know. Maybe you will get, I can't imagine with these tensor upgrades, you'll get worse performance. But I could see why a tech nerd would be like, oh my God, I'm giving up 4 gigabytes of RAM. So I don't know. Does it matter to what we're doing in terms of like the Gemini stuff? Most of it's going to be in the long term cloud based anyway. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if this is the right decision. Just like I don't know if honestly if continuing the Tensor project is the right decision. But I think I probably said this last year too, because I've thought it for a few years now. Google is making the phone they want to make, for better or worse. Like they are clearly prioritizing specific things over others, and like the big thing they're prioritizing is like general AI performance. Like over like literally everything else, including like other like all other performance metrics. And again, I don't know. It's a bet they're making. They are trying to transform the Pixel into the AI device that everybody is like trying to imagine these other companies are going to make, right? Like the evolution of the smartphone. That's what Google is trying to make Pixel. That's what this feels like. And I don't know if it comes together here. I don't know how many years we are away from it potentially coming together, but that's what this feels like a step towards, and what Tensor G6 feels like a step towards, and the way they've designed this phone, like down to highlight, like all of it feels like it's kind of feeding into, if you're getting this is not for tech nerds anymore. It's for Gemini. It was never, Pixel was never for tech nerds, but now it is really like, it is for like, do you want the Gemini phone? This is the Gemini phone.
But then it's weird that we still have this hangover from the Nexus series, 11 phones on. Like, it's crazy to think that this is the phone. And I don't know if...
It was such a relationship between Google and, like, 200,000 nerds on the internet. Like, like really, that's all it, like, and it's tough for that to die and to let that go. But, like, that's never what Pixel was. Like, from the jump, Pixel was different. And that's only, like, grown more distant over time.
Yeah, obviously we're 11 series in and 10 years down the line from the first one launching. It is a strange place. I'm now intrigued to see how I get on with the phones. I'm sure I won't have it'll just be the same experience, and it's felt like that for a while anyway with regards to Android. Google's kind of nailed Android so much to the point where every time I upgrade to a new device, I'm like, oh, this feels practically identical in terms of like the day-to-day experience, and then there's those little features that creep in. I'm surprised there was no mention of certain functionalities is that I've wanted to see change, like maybe some improvements to Pixel screenshots and that kind of stuff. But yeah,
I got to be honest, when I was setting up my review unit, I said no to screenshots.
Oh, what? You're a bad man.
I was like, I don't need this.
You're
I don't use it on the 10.
Pixel screenshots.
You do, because it powers proactive assistance.
Oh, come on, man. Don't make me turn it on.
Well,
don't like it.
Yeah, I'll just add about the apps that you're talking. Journal, screenshots, they did not get any... They're minor updates. Like,
yeah,
I have so far seen like one tweak in the weather app. Screenshots looks... I haven't noticed any changes during the hands-on. That said, there are new app icons for the weather app. Recorder, camera got a new icon, calculator, and there's one other, there's clock. The clock app's new icons. Otherwise, this was not a big year for Pixel apps getting updates, which that's always disappointing to us. So it's clear they focus most of the time on the system level proactive assistance, which is too long a name, and I'm shortening it to PA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that kind of covers phones. I think there's one extra surprise, and we'll have a lot more to say in the coming weeks about the phones. I think it does sound like I feel like it does sound we're being dour and we're being a bit down on them. But once we get to you, I feel like with any Pixel phone, it's almost a case of like the spec sheet and the initial impressions. Then again, I have been blown away by some of them in the past. I think, because it's so similar to last year, it's harder to pick out these little nuances when you don't have enough time to do so. And those highlight features, we don't know how they work in the real world until we get our hands on them. So we will have some more thoughts on them soon. I know that Will has a really good opportunity to test his Pixel camera very, very soon. I won't spoil it. He will talk about it probably at length in the next podcast. I hope if it goes well, because I think it might be one of the best tests of one of the features on the Pixel 11 series. Probably going, but yeah, the one surprise, and I think genuinely this is the one thing I'm most excited about, and it's the furthest away, was the Pixel tag. Which, why did it take so long for Google to do this? We will never know. But I think this is about time. It's about time we did this. It's coming in November. What did you think, Abner, when you first saw this for the first time?
It is surprisingly unexpectedly thin because of how it's a pill. It's not a circle. It's a pill-shaped thing. It's the face is metal, the underside is polycarbonate. It uses a coin cell battery. It has UWB. $29 is perfectly in line with the rest of the industry. For $99. No real color except that one, which it's not that important. I guess we've only touched it, we haven't used it, we haven't tested performance in any way. But I guess not having a built-in loop, I guess, is a bit of a bummer.
I wonder if it's like a case of, and I say this as someone who has a lot of AirTags, because sadly they're the best in terms of like global coverage. A lot of people have iPhones. You're going to find your luggage. That's kind of why I did it. It's not through any sort of like love for AirTags. I do wonder if, like an AirTag, I just throw them in a bag. I don't even have them on a loop. They just go in the bag. Do you know what I mean? Like they just go in the bag. I don't throw them on a key. I have one on a keychain, and that's
most people. I'd say most
do they?
people have keychain usage.
Right. So when I'm putting in luggage, you just go in, just throw it in
No,
there. It
yeah.
doesn't matter.
No,
It's a little
same.
diode, like I have a side bag and I have one in there. And actually, weirdly, I have this is a bit overkill, but I have a smart tag and the air tag. And then recently, until I sent one to Jordan as part of an ill-fated test where I managed to dox myself multiple times. I had a Pebblebee. So yeah, that was my trio in my side bag. So that might be overkill, but I think I'll probably get a 4-pack and throw them in, because I can definitely see them being a big component and drive for adoption of FindHub, maybe more so than at any other time.
What do you think took so long?
I continue to believe that they've had this hardware done for years, but it's just the privacy aspect of not wanting to be associated with the whole AirTag articles about stalking. Trevor Noah, he made a joke, a comment about how Android finally has an AirTag competitor. He didn't say AirTag, but that felt implied. And he's not wrong. Like, finally, there's a one-to-one thing.
Because it does. In terms of like the hardware, it's arguably better. It's better than the first generation AirTag, isn't it, in terms of the hardware? But I think it gets very close, if not like neck and neck with the second gen. Am I right in thinking that? I think it's something to do with the UWB range or Bluetooth range of it is like almost identical, which I think is a good thing. I'm glad that if they've had this made for years, it's a good thing. Sorry, I completely derailed you there, Abner. What were you saying about Trevor Noah and his comments?
I'm fading out. Like,
This is what Made by Google does to a man.
Maybe that feels like a good time for us to fade out too. Maybe.
Yeah, let's fade out over to our pro tier. We'll go a bit more in depth about some things, maybe some kind of other topics that we've spotted this week that isn't Made by Google related. But go check us out over there. We'd love to have you. Links in the description if you want to learn how to get involved with our 9 to 5 Google Pro. We've had some good responses of people chatting on the Discord. Everyone's getting involved. I'd love to get you involved. We've been involved this last week. Do not worry about it. We're all tired. There's lots to get over. There's lots to get into in the coming weeks. Thanks for joining me, guys. I know it's obviously very, very difficult with time zones and tiredness, but it's always good fun chatting to you. Hopefully we've not been too down this episode. We'll maybe have some positives towards the end. But yeah, cheers for watching and we'll speak to you soon.
bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to Pixelated, a 9 to 5 Google podcast. If you enjoyed the show, we ask that you rate and review it on the podcast platform of your choice and help spread the word by sharing the show with friends or on social media.